Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. My name is Ken Close, Healy World member here in the U.S., engineer and technology lover extraordinaire. I am joined by the head of operations, Jake Barron, all the way over there in Florida. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Hey, Ken. Good evening, everyone.
Awesome, awesome. I'm on the opposite side on the West Coast, so it's earlier here for me. I also want to welcome our customer service agent. Is Dogny here tonight? Is that who's?
Dongmi is here. Thank you,
Oh,
Dongmi, for helping us out.
woo, woo. Give him a big old hello and thank you for being here. So much appreciate you guys. But welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. If you guys have never been here before, well, I'm glad you're here now. And let me tell you a little bit how it works. This is a chat-based forum where our audience puts the questions, comments, concerns, needs in the chat room. Jake, myself, and Dogny in the background unpack these. We find solutions, we give you examples, we get all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you'll have a good time. What we talk about typically are the apps. We talk about the technology, we talk about the functionality, concepts, understanding around the quantum science. What we can't talk about is we don't talk about any kind of thing around diagnosing, treating, preventing, or any diseases or disorders specifically in which Healy is designed for. So that we have great assets for helping you with that. And of course, if you ask any questions around that, we can offer you direction in those assets. Sound good? All right. Are you ready, Jake?
I'm ready to go.
He's always ready. Of course he's ready.
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right. So guys, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. And we will work on magically unpacking those for you. We got one right out of the chute here. I love Jade says, this is a fab event. Thank you. Appreciate that. You know, it's every week. So please come and see us. So let's see. Jade says, my Healy won't turn on multiple cords and try different chargers, gives a green flash and stops. So in other words, when you hit the button, you get, I'm assuming the typical scenario when there's a low battery indicator is that green light flash is about 7 times, 5 to 7 times, really fast. Yeah. So it goes flash, 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 and then dies, right? So that's what is an indicator on the hardware. I'm just going to give you some stats here, some information on the hardware. If the battery is dead, you turn the power on, that green light flashes quickly a few times and then does, and then nothing. That means the battery's not charged, for whatever reason, whether, you know, connection issues, cord issues, adapter issues, whatever it is. So that's an actual indication that the battery is dead. Now, how do we fix that, right? How do we fix a dead battery? Now, first of all, give me the chat there. How long have you had your Healy? You had it for a bit? A year. Okay. All right. So, so typically there are, you know, I mean, after a year, that's pretty short period of time relative to how long they last. Jake, you want to add anything in there?
No, I mean, like you said, this doesn't sound like a case of a low battery because it's only flashing once and then turning off, which isn't an indication of low. That's an indication of some other issue. I'm wondering what happens when it's plugged in and she pushes the power button. Is it the same thing, or is this one of those cases where it turns on when it's not charging, or sorry, when it won't turn on when it's off the charger, but it turns on when it's on the charger? If that's sort of an indication there, or of course, Ken, as you mentioned, have we gone through the hard reset process too, where you hold down that power button, you know, 15, 20 seconds until the light comes on solid and then disappear? Have we gone through that process too? Or I know you mentioned change the different cables, the different charging block, but it seems like there's something internally that's going on there.
So let's walk through a little process real quick here in real time. I'd like to show you guys. So first of all, here's our Healy hardware. So if we press and hold the power button, I don't know, it's about 10 seconds or so. If we press and hold the power button and just keep it held down until the green light comes on solid. And then when the green light comes on solid, let it go. And the green light will stay on solid for a little bit of time after you let it go. Okay, that's what's called a hard reset, everybody. A hard reset essentially clears all of, well, first of all, it's going to clear anything in the memory of the Healy. So like the last program you ran. It's also going to clear any connection to any of the apps. So you know how when you've opened your app, you'll see some of the serial numbers or the serial number of your device often. So it clears that. It also clears essentially the battery algorithm or the app's indication of the battery level. It clears all that. Okay. So once you've done that, that's again the hard reset. Then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and just plug it in to your power. Plug it into your power. Okay. And you'll see the green light come on. Now set this down on the desk or a table or something when you do this next phase. So you've got it pushed down or you got it sitting on there and you may see the green light flicker a little bit. All right. It may just kind of oscillate slightly, just slightly. All right. So then now that it's plugged in, you've done that hard reset. Now I want you to press and hold that power button again and watch that green light. Watch that green light and it will probably come on a bit brighter. Just hold it down. And when it comes on a bit brighter, release it. Okay, give it a good 10, 20 seconds, whatever it takes. When that green light comes on a bit brighter, release it and then let it go. And then forget about it. Let it charge through its entirety. What that has done is completely reset all of the charge parameters around that battery and essentially cleared the battery as well. And now just let it charge, and in an hour or 2 or 3, whatever it takes, that green light should shut off. When it shuts off, that should have reset everything, and then give it a try. Okay. So that's the actual process. And it may take more than one of those sequences that we just went through for you to actually get it to back into rhythm. Okay. All right. So there's also Dongni has also put some content here in the chat for you, some Q&As, some cool links. So go ahead and take a peek at those. Now, by the way, folks, if you want to save this chat and keep all these links right next to where the little face icon is, where you type in your content, there's 3 little dots. Tap on those and it gives you a save chat option. So at the end of our call, your computer, if you're on a laptop or computer, a message will come up to save chat. You know, you'll be able to save it to your computer. You'll have all these links, all these questions, all these answers, everything will be there for you. Kind of a fun little thing. All right. Okay. So let's see next. What do we got, Jake?
We got a couple of questions related to the new Analyse app. So Dixie asked, are they going to add more characters for creating your own aura programs? And part 2, are they going to add the capability to record your voice as in the old Analyse app? So the answer to both of those questions are, I don't know. but let me get a little bit more into that though. So there's a feedback section within the app itself. You can go to the settings and then you can send feedback. And you know, we've already had a couple of people ask about a few things. One, being able to turn the sound off after you do an analysis where the chime sort of sounds and it's done. Right now, there's no way to turn that off. We've had a lot of feedback from people asking, it'd be great to have that feature, and that is going to be included in one of the future updates. And then also, we remember we had the question about what does the color of the battery indicator or battery icon indicate, you know, of whether it's green or yellow, what that indicates as far as percent goes, because in the Healy app, it actually shows a percent. You know, it's not an exact percentage, but it shows at least sort of a number there. And it's not a huge priority, but that is on the list to be included in a future update as well, to have that percentage added back in. So what I'm trying to say is, if there's anything that you would like, you know I've heard a few people mention wanting to be able to add more characters, whether it's the aura module or the coaching module as well. Send feedback, and then the more people that request this, it can be added to the list and slotted in there for one of the future updates. So, it's a brand new app, and it's going to be updated, more frequently over time versus compared to the old Analyze app. It was near the end of its life. All the resources were being put into the new one, and this one's going to be updated on a more frequent basis. So
yeah, it's on a better platform, so the updates and the communications, or I should say, with the end user and the developer is a much better two-way street. So definitely put in your suggestions. Now I want to also let everybody know that when you're running from the Pink Dot app here, and you're running a program or you're doing anything, the icon at the top right of your screen that shows your battery strength, that's an active icon, by the way. Active icon means that if you tap on it, it opens up another window. So if you tap on that little battery icon, it opens up another window. It gives you actually a battery percentage, right? It gives you a number there. So of course, it also gives a bar graph as to, the battery life in the moment, but it also does give you a percentage. So it is an active particular little button. That's also where you would turn your Bluetooth signal off, by the way. If people aren't sure, how do you turn the Bluetooth signal off? Remember, it used to be a little icon at the top of the screen when the app, now it's there under that active button, aka battery icon. Okay, so just so you know where that's at. And by the way, guys, I do this all the time. We don't know a lot of like iPhone, for instance. I have an iPhone, and there are so many hidden functions that just by swiping this way up and around, and while you're holding the thing upside down and you got your eye winked and all that kind of stuff, it does stuff, right? It's like, okay, not eye winked, but the point is it does some interesting things. And until you actually experiment, you don't know that. Now the fun part is reproducing that thing, whatever function you did. But there's YouTube stuff on like the iPhone and how to do these certain things now. So I always just, within the app, I will tap on things. I will try to move things around. I will just do experiments, right, during the function of the app and see what happens. But there's more instruction, more content coming to show you exactly what it can do, and updates. So stay tuned, right? All right. Great question though. Thanks, Dixie. Appreciate that. So here is a question. Carolina is asking, please teach me the details to print or send an email to a client about their session. I hit an obstacle every time. So Jake, you want to talk about that, or do you have, is there something in the in our academy yet on that PDF function? Or
well, I don't remember if one of the new Analyze videos shows the PDF function, but we showed this during our Healy for Beginners and Beyond earlier this month. So I'll put the link in, or find the link to that. But yeah, we basically, to email it, you're going to click the export PDF button, and then after you do that, you have the option you can save that PDF somewhere, whether it's on your smart device or whatever, or just like you can send a text message or an email, you can use the email function built into your smart device. So it's just like emailing a PDF, any other PDF that you would have, you can use that function to send as well. So I don't know really the best way to explain it right now. Let me see again. I'll put the link into the chat where we kind of showed it on the screen, how that looks, and that I think will help some at least.
Yeah, that Healy for Beginners and Beyond. I think that would show, because you did a lot of screen sharing there.
Yeah.
To show that, so that's really quite useful. I love screen sharing. So yeah, give that a look-see. So I also want to welcome everybody. We got people from all over the place, Canada and where else from? I mean, I love it when people are chiming in from all over the place here to join in and get a little bit of techie info. We got your tech geeks right here.
Okay, Ken, I just pulled it up. Actually right now, let me, sorry, I'll put a link into the chat right now. And then, so let me share while we're here, just for anyone that wants to know how to. Okay, so we're here. This is the Healy for Beginners and Beyond from August 3rd, 2023. And you'll see here in the description, if you expand this out, you'll see we covered a lot of different topics on this particular video. But if you go down here, it says export PDF feature. So if you click on the timestamp, it's going to take you directly to this part here. So you'll see here, I think we're in the top right, you're going to click export PDF. So I think, all right, so yeah, here we're creating the PDF here. And you see, so Ken, so you see here, it's going to show in the video, there's a little arrow at the top here where the file name is. That's where you can save it directly to your smart device, and then you could email it later. Or you'll see at the bottom left, there's an arrow with a box with an up. If you clicked on that, it would actually pull up your ability to email this document. It would attach it to an email. You can send it from there through the built-in email function of your smart device. So I think that's the easiest thing to do. If what you want to do is email that PDF to somebody, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Or again, just save it to your smart device and then just go to your email program, open up an email and attach it to the email and then send it out from there.
Yeah, I think that's honestly, I agree that that's actually the easiest way to forward anything is that little icon at the bottom, that square with the arrow up, that's a forward function. And then it gives you options on whatever your smart device is. So by the way, folks, if you don't have an email function set up on your smart device, so in other words, it's a new device, you haven't linked it to your email or any of that kind of stuff, that's not going to show up. So it's only things that are going to show up are what's already set up and usable within your smart device. So if it doesn't show up, it's not so much the app's fault. It's what's not quite set up yet on it. And I get this a lot with people who have a brand new smart device and they just take it out of the box and turn it on and load their Healy app. All of a sudden there's nothing set up yet. It's not even assigned to an account. And so it does, there's a whole process of assigning your smart device to your personal account, whether it's iOS or Android, that you have to go through to get all those functions up and running on that device. So that may not pertain to you guys that are, with this particular question, but I just want to address that and make sure that when you're counseling, maybe your downline or any of your team, that you're looking at that and taking that into account. Some folks are buying a whole separate smart device just to operate their Healy. And, you got to go through the functions of setup first. All right. Let's see. Here's one that says, okay, I'd like to ask a question. I recently heard Ken say that he preferred to run the program at night, between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. being the best time for the body or the cells to do their work. Does Ken do it with the wristbands or with the coil or just with the Healy? So the question is being asked there about, there is in everyone's circadian rhythm, no matter where you are in this world, the circadian rhythm in your demographic dictates through light or absence of light, information into the optic nerve to turn on or off, or basically regulate over 400 systems in this body, just by that light signal from the sun, from whether it's day or night. Now, quite often, we are living in artificial light, right? So in other words, we're staying up late, we got the lights on, it's changing the body's functions. So there's a point in everyone's circadian rhythm between about midnight and 2 a.m. when the body is in a deep state of sleep, that the most amount of repair, recovery, and growth is happening at the cellular level. And here's why. It's because the mind is out of the way. Trust me, it's the body knows how to fix itself. There's a divine intelligence that works with every cell in your body that operates and recreates itself. In other words, 800,000 cells per second recreating within your body, and you're not doing any of that, right? I mean, if you think you are, I would challenge you to try to make it stop, right? No different than trying to stop digesting your food. You're not going to be able to do that as a consciousness. So, however, the consciousness does affect the outcome of those 800,000 cells per second by its energy. So if we're in a bad mood, or if we're in a good mood, or whatever attitude we're presenting, that's an energetic expression influencing the cell biology. So when between 2 a.m. or between midnight and 2 a.m., that part of you, that consciousness, is out of the way, and the body is doing the most amount of that repair, recovery, and growth. And that's a good thing. Now, is that the greatest time to influence the body in terms of Healy or energy? Yeah, that's a great time. I do not wake up and try to set any programs. I don't do that. Why? Because I've interrupted that REM sleep, right? We need to be in that deep sleep during that midnight and 2 a.m. for that process to be taking place. Okay, so I do not wake up to do that. But you can set the stage prior by putting that information into your body before bed. I do the muscle program all the time. I do the regeneration program all the time. I love, and I see a question that's here in relation to the Bioenergetic Vitalization page. The Bioenergetic Vitalization page was designed around the stem cell idea and how we can increase that activity with these programs. So, and each one of those programs has a name to it, designed for a certain purpose. So if we run those programs prior to bed, then there's going to be that energy on board already. And so that it's starting to help that signaling structure as you're going into that midnight to 2 a.m. process. Now, that's from just the microcurrent aspects. And I use that microcurrent aspect a lot because it really does dig in deep to the biology of my body. But you can run from the Blue Dot app, from the Heal Analyze app. You can do a scan on yourself within a specific database, right? Whether it's the Bioenergetic Vitalization, find out what programs best suit you for your needs now. And you could set a timer, right? You can set that Blue Dot app to run all night if you want. I would caution you. First of all, I would do a little experiment, run it for shorter periods of time, find out how your body reacts. Because we really don't want to be running this content into our body while we're sleeping and have it engage somewhat of a detox condition, right? Because that can happen. And what happens then is the body starts to use its excretion systems to try to get rid of things that these programs are flushing to the surface and wanting to get rid of in the body. So I say, do the experiment in your waking hours, find out how you respond, and then give it an experiment during your sleep stage and see how that goes. Okay. We are the responsible party for our healing. No technology and no other person is responsible. However, it can assist us, right? So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Anything you want to add to that, Jake? Any advice from corporate to say?
Well, Well, no, like you said, it could do more harm if you you set your alarm to wake up between 12 and 2 if you're not normally up at that time, and it goes against kind of your own natural cycle there as well. And even with the natural cycle, that's one of those things where there's certain organs that are most active during each of these 2-hour windows. And just like in the natural cycle, it doesn't tell you to wake up at that time. If you're normally asleep during that time, you just pick up on the next 2-hour window that's available when you wake up. It's not change your whole life around for that. But I liked what you said, the tips to get ready for that sleep and that rest and recover and repair.
Yep, definitely take responsibility for your healing, folks. We don't want to give our power away. Test it within yourselves and make sure that it's an adequate system for you, or adequate protocol for you. I've worked with many people, and some folks are extremely sensitive to the frequency energies, and I've had folks that get jittery and upset to their stomach and all kinds of things when you do too much, and too much can be even 5 minutes. So to some, so you're your own measuring stick. So make sure that you're really aware of your body and the way it reacts. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Izzy is saying have to be connected to the internet to open a new Blue app. Hoping this will be changed back to being able to use an airplane mode. Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, right now with the new Analyse 2 app, you do have to be, because there's no, like in the old Analyse app, there was a way to turn off the sync essentially, where if you didn't want to sync every single time. This one, it's every time you open the app, it's pulling down the database, confirming everything, making sure everything's okay. It's a lot faster than the old Analyse 2 app. But yeah, right now you do need to be connected to either Wi-Fi or cellular in order to open it to proceed. But again, this is another thing. If it's an important feature to have, send the feedback, and it could be incorporated into a future update. So.
Yeah, that syncing process, I do like the fact that we could either turn that on or off and then give that option. So definitely let's all send our feedback in there about that and see what what can be shifted. Once you've downloaded, once you've opened it and that function is on. So again, what's the workaround? So when you first open the app, it does its download, it does its population, it's running. You've done maybe you're ready to do an analysis, kick it into airplane mode. But remember, we're in airplane mode probably so that we're not getting interrupted by a phone call, right? You can also turn those notifications off as another workaround so that you don't get those interruptions on your smart device, that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here. In the new Healy Analyze app, there is an option called a Resonance MagHealy program group. When I tap on it, I'm taken to us.healy.shop. Why? I do have a MagHealy and it's on. It shouldn't be. I mean, when you tap on, so you're in the Blue app, you've got your different analysis parameters. One is the resonance, one is the resonance. They look the same, but one is for Healy, one is for MagHealy. If that's the one you're tapping on, it's taking you to the shop. Why would it be doing that?
Yeah, I would go ahead and put in a support ticket. It sounds like maybe there's something not synced right on your account on the back end as far as the databases, because there's one basically access level for everyone with access to the Resonance app. It's not, some have access to MagHealy, or some have access to the Aura, some have access to MagHealy, some have access to the regular databases. So there could be something that needs to be resynced on our end, but go ahead and submit a support ticket, or you can reach out to our tech support team. There, we do have, if you go to us.healy.shop between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern, we do have a live chat feature, which we're currently still beta testing, but there is tech support available via that live chat feature as well. So you could try that too in the morning.
So, and I'm also assuming you have the Resonance or above edition, right?
Yeah, would definitely be something where it's not I'm trying to think what
If
one
you
didn't.
if you have the gold, but you wouldn't be able to get into the Analyze app,
Yeah.
you'd have to have a Resonance or above. So here's a thought: you could try deleting the app and reloading it to see, and then repopulate that app with your account and log in and see what that does, because yeah, there's some link function error there. Should not be taking you to the shop. Okay, where else are we? I think I might be a little behind. Where are we, Jake? The second question. There is a one here asking, the second question is there a protocol or a suggestion, a suggested way how to use the bioenergetic vitalization program? So I touched on it a little bit. The bioenergetic vitalization program is like working with our stem cell system, and there are distinct programs in there, right? So they have names. There is also a process of training the body, just like essentially within the deep cycle. The bioenergetic vitalization has a regeneration 1, 2, and 3 phase, which is the beginning, essentially building the body's interface with how the stem cell regeneration works. So I always recommend people who want to start using that page, start with regeneration 1, run that program. It's like 36 minutes, it's not very long. Do a little bit of self-care between, and then run number 2. So I think they're all the same amount of time. Do some self-care between, and then run number 3. Now, essentially what you're doing is you're activating this body with these frequencies, all within the modality of stem cell generation. So I also want to open up a little bit, touch a bit about self-care protocols between these programs. What is that? Grounding, folks, grounding and hydration. Those two things are super huge when it comes to keeping our bodies viable for this frequency interface and this alignment, because we need to hydrate where because that's where, again, where this electron flow and this conductivity and microcurrent is really working within the body. Okay, so make sure you're working on that, hydration and grounding. The third one that's really super important is movement, because it is the movement that engages the lymphatic system. And I'm talking about long movements, full movement, stretching, yoga. I even like what I call rolling. Actually, get on the ground and roll around. Put your hands over your head, roll around, put your hands beside your side, roll around, because that actually pulsates and massages the body and really moves a lot of the fluid. I know, sounds funny, but it works. But then you go and just look at the names of these programs. What is on there? Bone harmony, tissue harmony, stability, right? Holistic supports, nerve harmony. So what does that say to you? What does that say to you? That's where it's working. The owner's manual does have some descriptions in there. We've talked about that before, right, Jake?
Yeah. Yep.
So you can take a look at your owner's manual. You can access it right there from the app, and you can see what it says about it. But that, use your intuition about what those programs are saying to you. Let's see. And Domini's kind of supporting that same answer about looking at your owner's manual. Yeah, so is he saying that the beta did work in airplane mode until about the latter part of July when we again that was the beta.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, I was going to say we have a question about the new Analyze app. It says an aura analysis result does not give you the same numbers for each item, which gives you the potency, intensity, and percent, etc. Will this come back? What? Trying to think what the same numbers for each item. Do you know what we're referring to there, Ken? Because each result has its own numbers as far as potency, intensity, and percent. So I don't know.
So we have a graph in terms of when an aura gives you a result, there are categories of content information there. Essentially, it's talking about the percentage of relevancy, the intensity of that, whatever it's identified, intensity on a scale of 1 to 10. And then lastly, as to what it's addressing, spiritual, physical, or emotional, and is it a wrong thinking, wrong acting, and wrong or ancestral. So so that's content that is going to be probably different for every single line item, or some could be same, but it's there is a deciphering chart, but the new app, if you tap on it, kind of tells you what each one of those. If you tap on the actual information bar right there, where you have the percentage, the intensity, and the dilution, it'll kind of break that apart as to what they mean. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly where that question is headed.
Yeah, I mean, so the numbers are different for each result there, and then also there's the pop-ups that explain a little bit more. And then you can also edit the results too. If you have that enabled in the advanced settings, you can actually edit those results too within the aura module.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. And so Izzy's got a comment here, says that the new blue disconnects frequently now. If I put my phone into shorts pocket or lock my phone while vibrating, but I can't go outside and that 30 feet away from my phone and it keeps running. You can go, you say. It never disconnected in my pocket before July 16th. So again, that's so in other words, it works properly further distances than it does shorter distances. In other words, so you got it in your pocket and you're running the app and it disconnects, versus if it's a little bit further away, it doesn't disconnect. That's what I'm assuming you're saying here. So what is Bluetooth is rarely is it too close, but sometimes I have been able to place my hand over the top of the Healy hardware and negate the signal. In other words, drop the signal strength significantly, the Bluetooth signal set strength between the hardware and my smart device. Because we're working with BLE or Bluetooth Low Energy, again, you're now discovering the nuances of this new program. Is it more sensitive or less sensitive? I have seen that, but I've seen it mostly with the Android, not the iPhone. So I'd be curious which one you have. And I'm not saying that all models of either operating system are equal in connectivity, but I haven't seen too much of that issue with the iPhone. versus the Android. So shoot me a note here, a follow-up to that question. Do you have an Android, or are you using Android? Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Okay, in the Blue Dot app, and or analysis results. Okay, do not give me the same numbers. Okay, I already read that one.
Yeah.
All right. Does grounding work as well if I do it in the mornings during morning programs, just can't at night? So great question in terms of grounding. Grounding works in the real-time moment. So what are we doing with the grounding process? Grounding means, folks, another word is earthing. But what that means is that you're actually putting like your hands, feet, your skin against the dirt, the earth. Okay, now, there's also an effectiveness towards plants, house plants. If you have a large house plant, you can actually touch the plant, touch the soil, and there'll be an amount of discharge from your body. So what are we doing with grounding? We're trying to move the body back into a zero charged state. In other words, down regulating or getting rid of free radicals within the body. Because Healy, when you're healing the body, and Healy is increasing the healing factors within this body, it's going to produce free radicals. It's going to get rid of toxic burden. And that's some of the free radicals going on in our bodies at the energy level. So grounding discharges that. Now, you can do that in your homes, folks, by the way, at night. Our home typically depends on the age of the home, but even now at most of the codes are a 3-prong outlet in your home. And there's products you can buy that are grounding mats, grounding sheets, grounding blankets, grounding pillows, and you plug them into the AC circuit of your home. And the only thing that's live is the ground pin on the cord. And that connects directly through your home's electrical system right to the grounding rod outside of your home, whether it's an apartment complex, a condo, a house, whatever. All of the AC systems in today's grids require a ground, and that's earth ground. So that's actually how we can take those free radicals and pass them through our electrical system, through the grounding circuit of our home, right to the earth. So that's another option, works well. I'm going to give you another modality that a lot of folks don't think about, is that we can take our state and enter into a meditative state, and through the meditative state, work through running our feet roots into the ground, and doing a grounding process in meditation. So take a look at some of those things. There's things on YouTube, but you can actually ground yourself through meditation as well. And I prefer, well, I don't say one or the other, but both is great, but I do like to be barefoot in the dirt. Okay.
Well, and a little bit more on that OR module question we had about the numbers being the same. So not the same, but any number. So I guess she's saying that there's no numbers showing up for relevance, potency, intent. So that, there should be a number for all of those. It shouldn't be blank. So, and also I'm wondering, because the way that the OR module works as far as how things are displayed, it's different. It's a different process now. And if you go back to that Healy for Beginners and Beyond that we shared the link for earlier from August 3rd, that actually does go through some of the screenshots of the OR module. But once you run the scan and it's a little bit different, because after you get what you think are the results, or it shows all the different categories, at the very top of the screen it says view it says aura analysis results, and then above your picture at the very top there. And once you click on that, that's where it takes you to the detailed page where it shows the numbers that you're kind of referring to there. So I have not heard of anyone having those be blank, but if for some reason they are, you could always try deleting and reinstalling that. Maybe something had somehow got corrupted with yours, but there, in all cases, there should be numbers that are returned for each of those.
Yeah, that's definitely not a normal function. So there's always, you could try deleting that app and reinstalling it and see if it re-energizes. I'm always concerned about a couple of things when things start to are faulty. Are there any faulty apps other than Healy within your smart device? And reason I ask that is because a lot of times as our smart device winds up being lower and lower in memory resources, it compromises not just one app, but all of them. And so take a look at how much memory you have on your smart device. And if you're down below 25% left, then there may be some glitches amongst many platforms, not just the Healy. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Somebody can't find vital substances in the new blue app.
So this depends on when you purchased your Healy edition, because if you purchase your Healy after August 1st, 2022, the vital substances database was removed from all the editions going forward. Anybody that had it prior to August 1st, 2022 kept it, but anybody after that, there was a different database added. It's not related to vital substances, but everyone after has the Courage database that was added. And I know as part of this whole database process, this transition from the old Analyze app to the new one, back in May of this year, so just a couple months ago, it was accidentally added for new people as well, past that day. So there's been some people that have reached out and said, hey, where did my vital substances go? They're a newer member, and technically they shouldn't have really even had access to it. It was kind of a several month error. And as part of the launch of the new Analyze 2 app, it was basically corrected to where it was removed and the Courage database was put in for those people. So I'm wondering, Elena, if you put into the chat when you purchased your Healy device, and that might give us the answer as far as if you can't find it, that might be correct that it's no longer available in the app itself.
Yeah.
And
I'll
just put some information into the chat here related to that as well. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Let's see, here's a question around what do you do for grounding? So I kind of mentioned that, bare feet in the dirt. No more difficult than that. I mean, you can be as much bare as you want on the ground, depending on your privacy code. But barefoot in the dirt or in the grass or whatever, or you're barefoot on earth. It doesn't work to walk on the sidewalk barefoot because that's concrete. It's not the same. We want to be in the earth. So, and the more surface area contact, again, another grounding, swimming in a natural lake, pond, stream, river, whatever. That's also another great grounding option because the water is within the earth and lots of conductivity there. You're releasing. So grounding is awesome. And like I mentioned, you can go to YouTube, by the way, and just search on grounding devices or grounding methods, and you'll find content around, like I mentioned, grounding sheets and pillows and all kinds of devices that plug into the home. And And Izzy, I love what you said there, that my home is a horse trailer, and how do you ground there? So let me give you a little fun technical tip. Is if you were to take a bare piece of wire, okay, it doesn't matter what size it is, and you connect it to the frame of that horse trailer and let it drag on the ground. Let it drag on the ground. Wherever you park, wherever you stop, let that wire touch the ground, then just touch the frame of the trailer. It's grounded. You're now earth ground, because the trailer is made out of metal. It's conductive. And so when you touch the trailer and the trailer has some form, or another way to do that is connect a wire from your trailer to a tent stake and stick it in the ground, right? It, of course, unplug it before you drive away, but anytime you stop and you want to, if you're in your, I'm assuming if you're in your trailer and you're hanging out, camping out, right? Some of these horse trailers are awesome with great campers, and they can have the horses and everything. The point is you can take that entire trailer and ground it, and the horse is standing on the metal. If they're on metal, I know a lot of those have rubber mats in there. A rubber mat is going to be an insulator. It doesn't count if there's a rubber mat. The horse has to lean against the metal, right? Or its hoof touching the metal grate. But it will be grounded too when you ground your trailer. So just a little hint on how you can do that. Be creative. Drive a stake into the earth, connect that stake electrically, aka a wire, to your trailer, and then just to hold on to your trailer. And if it's at night because you don't want to go out at night, that's a good way to do it. Do it before nightfall. Okay. All right. Did I miss anything? I don't know if let's see. Can't find vital substances, so there's some help there. Awesome. Rubber shoes block earthing. Yes, absolutely do. Natural materials, leather. If you have a moccasin or a hemp shoe, the sole is not rubber. It's either hemp or moccasin. Now, remember, sometimes people put oils and things on this material to make it waterproof. If it's waterproof, it is an insulator. It's insulated. In other words, it's not conductive anymore. Okay, so barefoot is the best, and it doesn't take very long. 15 minutes, folks. 15 minutes. Barefoot. Okay. Yes, riding a barefoot horse bareback is same as grounding. Right? But let me give you a little hint. You need to also be bare butt. I'm not advocating for any of that, anything weird. Just say you need to have skin touching the horse. Your clothing is still an insulator. Wearing shorts and having bare legs, squeezing in on the horse. Yeah, that works too. Okay. I love it. All right. What else we got here? We got a little bit of time left.
Yeah, interesting question. I had not heard this before from Izzy. She mentioned she heard from somebody in Germany that all new MagHealys will not have an expert programs area, that to get an expert program for MagHealy, new ones will need to be purchased from time waiver practitioners. What have you all heard? I have not heard that at all. The expert program area is a built-in feature to the Healy app, whether you're connected to your Healy device or whether you're connected to the MagHealy. So I have not heard anything related to that. Maybe it was something that got lost in translation between here in Germany there, but as far as I know, as far as I've heard, there's no changes related to how the expert programs are going to function going forward.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure. I got a question directly to me. It says, why Tubac, Schitzlers, Alaska, etc. I'm not sure what that means. If that those are different.
Yeah. It sounded like they have their duplicate databases showing up on their Analyze 2 app. So that could be a sync issue. It could be, possibly solved by deleting and reinstalling the app. And then if they're still there, you can send in a support ticket or try live chat, and our tech support team can take a look at your specific device to see if there's something else going on your account in the background there too. So
I had that on one of my devices where, and I even went into the databases because you got that little arrow, you can see what's in there, and looked to make sure they were exactly the same. Both databases were the same. I were just duplicates. And so I did a couple of syncs. I did more than one, and it got rid of that. So,
yeah, you can try deleting, reinstalling the app, or logging out and logging back in, because it's going to pull again that information back into the app itself.
So Izzy addressed my, she created a question before when I already addressed it. She's asking, does clothing block grounding if I'm sitting on on a block of wood on the ground? Yes, it's an insulator. Like I said before, anything other than your skin. Even, by the way, folks, I know I get this sometimes too, where people are wearing the wristbands and they're running the microcurrent and they're getting poor conductivity, and they say, well, I'm putting water, between my wristband and my wrist. However, I find out that they use a lot of lotions and a lot of moisturizers on their skin, or that because their skin has some certain dryness conditions. And so two things, both are not all that helpful. Dryness conditions within the skin means that you're not going to get great conductivity between the wristband and your skin. Two, when you put a lot of these lotions have products in them that are insulators to hold moisture in. And again, like I said, with the analogy with the moccasin or the hemp shoe, when you put waterproofing systems on them, it starts to build an insulating factor. So it's the same with your skin. When you're putting moisturizer on it to hold moisture in, it's like waterproofing your skin. And then your wristbands don't get as good a conductivity. So, if you're wearing clothing, you're not going to have the same amount of conductivity when it comes to trying to ground. This is why I say barefoot, bare hands, bare feet, bare body parts if you're going to be sitting on a horse. But you can, again, like I said, wear shorts, your bare skin from the knees down. But yeah, it's funny how I answered your question before I even came to it, huh? Okay. All right. So Jade says, sadly, hard reset ×2, not successful. We'll send a support ticket. Now remember that hard reset ×2, and then that charge, the recharging, if you're trying to recharge or reset the battery function, then you have to allow it to charge completely. If that's what you're talking about in terms of that reset's not doing the job for you. If it has anything to do with the battery, it's got to be completely charged again for probably an hour and a half, or until that the green light goes off. All right. Let's see. What else we got here, Jake? We're out of time, I think, though. Any lightning rounds? As you said, still talking about our trailer. So will grounding devices work on my trailer if I hang a wire down? So if you've got AC circuitry within your trailer and it's run from a battery pack on the trailer and an inverter, then no. When you plug something into that outlet in your trailer, it is not earth ground outside of the trailer. So the only way to create earth ground from your trailer to the earth is by driving a rod into the earth and then connecting a conductor from that rod to your trailer. Then you're building, but you're still not building it into the circuitry that you're plugging in. It's only the frame of your trailer. So so we can talk more. I can show you more about that. There's some cool stuff that can be done. Okay, guys, we got to run. Thank you so much for being here. Anything you want to add there, Jake?
No, well, for those of you that normally tune into What's Up Wednesday tomorrow, we're not going to have that. We have a MagHealy training that's going on, and we've had a lot of trainings going on. There was some important promo news, then Adriana, she recorded a video earlier today that's posted on her YouTube channel at healyamericas.com. There's some really great new promos both in the US, Canada, Mexico that launched today. So check that out. And then also the recording of this call will be available on that same YouTube channel, healyamericas.com. Most likely by tomorrow, but definitely by Thursday at the latest.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thanks, Jake. Thank Dominique for your help,
Yes,
man.
thank
You guys
you.
rock. I super enjoy doing these things, and hopefully it was of service to you. If so, share it with other people, and let's get more folks on here. How about that? Big love, everybody. See you later. See you next week.